These equations have several variables, so you want to stay focused on what you're solving for. In this case, I want to solve for x, so I've highlighted x. And then when you're solving an equation, something to understand is what you're doing is undoing PEMDAS. If there's no equal sign and you're just simplifying, you're following PEMDAS, but when you're solving an equation, you're going to get rid of addition and subtraction first, then you're going to get rid of multiplication and division, then you would get rid of exponents and so on. So keeping in mind that we're undoing, I ask myself, what's preventing x from being by itself? And this x is being multiplied by 5, and we also have minus y. So knowing we're going to undo PEMDAS, we want to get rid of addition and subtraction first. So I want to get rid of the subtract y before I get rid of multiply by 5. Okay, so to get rid of subtract y, I'm going to add y. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I do to the other. So on the left-hand side, now that we've gotten rid of that y, we're still going to have 5x. Let's bring down the equal sign. And then on the right side, we have z plus y. Okay, now that we've gotten rid of the subtraction, we can move on to getting rid of the multiplication and division. So to get rid of times 5, I'm going to divide by 5. You show that with an underline. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I do to the other. Keep in mind you're dividing the entire side by 5, so all of that is then in the numerator. This 5 got rid of that 5, so x is by itself. Let's bring down the equal sign. And we have the fraction z plus y all over 5. Okay, so let's look at 2 more examples. If I want to get x by itself, I'm looking to see what is preventing it from being by itself, and it is multiply by 4 and subtract 9y. I know that when you see the 9 next to the y, you're thinking multiplication, but it's what's happening to the x, and it's subtracting the whole thing 9y. So if I'm undoing PEMDAS, I want to get rid of subtraction before I get rid of multiplication. So I want to get rid of the subtract 9y before I get rid of the multiply by 4. So to get rid of subtract 9y, I'm going to add 9y. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I do to the other. On the left side, we're left with 4x. Let's bring down the equal sign. And then we have z plus 9y. Those can't be combined, they're not like terms. Lastly, to get rid of the multiply by 4, I'm going to divide by 4, show that with an underline. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I do to the entire other side. So the whole thing over 4. This 4 got rid of that 4, so x is now by itself on the left side. Let's bring down that equal sign. And then the right-hand side is the fraction z plus 9y all over 4. Okay, so one more here. I've highlighted the x because that's what we're trying to get by itself. So you ask yourself, what is keeping the x from being by itself? And it's the times 7 and the minus y. If we undo PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, we're getting rid of addition and subtraction before we get rid of multiplication and division. So getting rid of the minus y first, I'm going to add y. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I have z plus y. And then on the right-hand side, bringing down the equal sign, I have 7x still. Okay, finally, now that I've gotten rid of the subtraction with addition, I'm ready to move on to getting rid of multiplication. So get rid of times 7 by dividing by 7. What I do to one side, I do to the entire other side. So all of this over 7. This 7 is getting rid of this 7. So x is by itself. Bring down the equal sign, and then it's equals z plus y over 7. Okay, so big picture is if you're solving an equation, you're undoing PEMDAS. So when you look to see what's happening to the letter that you're trying to get by itself, you're going to see addition and subtraction and multiplication and division. And you want to get rid of the addition and subtraction first, and then you're going to get rid of the multiplication or division.